Good evening, everybody. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Faryiryland. It's just gone 19:30 hours, 7:30 p.m., 09:30 UTC. Good evening to all who's on. The WX out here at the present time is 23.8 degrees. 64% humidity and 0.7k of breeze. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Romeo Bravo. I'll now change my call sign to the club call of VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. This is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net. This net is held every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m, 19:30 hours, 09:30 UTC. This is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta. Now listening for any call-ins. Please call in.
Yeah, roger there, Gary there. I'm listening, mate, but I'm busy at the moment there, so just strike me off the list. I'll just be listening there, Gary. Thanks, mate, there. VK4GRB, VK4 Mike Echo Echo.
Okay, got you as listening only at the present time. We'll try you on the second round. If nothing comes through, well, that's okay. VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta, now listening for any other call signs. VK4BAD.
VK4 Mike Victor. VK4IJP.
Okay, good evening there, fellas. Okay, we've got VK4 Mike Echo Echo listening. VK4 Mike Victor L in Dalby. And VK4 IJP Ian in Proston. Anyone else want to call in to the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net? VK4BAD? Okay, is there anyone else want to call into VK4BAD Wednesday night net? VK4BAD listening? Okay, we might get more on the next round. Never know. Okay, last call before we start the first round. VK4BAD listening? Okay, nothing else heard at the present time? Okay, so at the present time we've got VK4 Mike Echo Echo Eric in Maidensville, he's listening. VK4 Mike Victor L and VK4 IJP Ian. VK4 Mike Victor, over to you there L.
VK4BAD group and VK4 Mike Victor. Good evening. Apologies for missing the last couple of weeks. I've had visitors and other arrangements of things to do, but we're sort of nearly back on track. And the news is the replacement new car arrived last Tuesday, backed into the driveway and rolled off the transport vehicle, and so it's now happily and safely in the garage. So got to get used to it again. And yeah, quite happy with it. Only one little niggly thing, but we'll sort that out. But it came fitted with a nice set of roof racks and a solid cover on the back of the tub, which is really quite well made. It's an interesting piece of kit. It sort of rolls itself up into a box at the front, and when you close it, it locks, and it's nice and secure. Although it restricts the height, but anyway, it's we work with it for the meantime. So what have I been up to? As I say, visitors and lots of work around the place. And yesterday and today, I had spent a fair bit of time tuning up an FT897, picking up a few tricks and whatnot in doing it. Fairly complicated around about the way it's got to be done, and even the software needs to be set up. So I've virtually been incorporating most of the test equipment on the bench and inventing a few interfaces of things to connect to get the settings right. So been quite interesting. So quite enjoyed down there. It's at least the temperature's a bit more comfortable than normal. And a couple of very big, well, not very big, but reasonable sized branches came out of trees in the backyard during the wind. So I tidied them up this evening and did some whippersnippering. So yeah, all good at the moment. And that's about it. Watching a bloke refurbishing a lathe on YouTube. Quite interesting. Over to you, Ian. VK4IJP, the VK4 Mike Victor.
Yeah, very good, Al. Good evening, Gary, again. And Al. Yeah, I'm just wondering, have you got your lower leg bone caught on the tow bar as you walked around it? You must be walking around it going, there's something here taking up the space in the garage. It's been vacant for such a long time. Oh dear. So you've got to be careful of your of that bone. It will get caught on things that you've grown unaware of. Anyway, it's good. Oh well, you've been busy, eh? It is interesting the whole procedure of tuning an amateur HF radio. It makes for some interesting, complex reading. But it's quite an eye-opener, I'm finding anyway, compared to some of the other commercial stuff anyway. I've had a busy couple of days doing a couple of things around the house, doing some flashing and making some real steps forward. I've had a break yesterday and today. I probably will have a break again tomorrow because we're going to go shopping, but then I'll be out with my big sausage gun, filling in some of the gaps in between the planks. So it's coming along nicely. I'm sort of pleased with that. If a little chat that I had last week with Don, he inspired me nicely. So that's been good. The other thing I've been doing is the 6-metre Ringo has came along well, and it's now actually up on the roof. And I had a near perfect SWR sitting on the spar picket on the ground with the radio sitting in a wheelbarrow beside it. Anyway, I can't give the SWR under a 2. So I'm going to have probably a little play around with that. Maybe borrow an analyzer off Eric to see if I can pick up there. But I don't know. It's closer, lower around 52 megs rather than what it is, plus or minus 2 megs. But I just can't get it down below 2. So maybe it's not resident, maybe it's just somewhere whereabouts it's sitting and it's way off or something. But anyway, been playing around with this FT650. I can't get the power there. I was going to ask you, Al, next time around, do you have a 12-volt power cable for Yaesu? I just want to know which one's positive and negative out of the 6 pins. I think it might be the 2 centre ones, but I'm not 100% sure. So the 12-volt 6-pin plug for Yaesu, I'm just wondering if you've got one of them. But actually, just thinking about it, Eric got one. He bought another radio the other day. I wonder if it's got a 6-pin plug on it. I'll find that out tomorrow then, actually. So I'll probably will go down and visit him. Okay, that's it for about me. It's been a action-packed day, other than watching some space rocket stuff with Gary, which has been great. It's been rather, at times, like this morning, rather explosive times, moments watching it. But, as I say, disappointingly brilliant. But anyway, what can you say? Okay, I'll put it back around to our ever patient net controller who keeps all of us in order, and we'll see what's been happening in other parts of the world. VK4BAD and the group. This is VK4IJP.
VK4IJP in group VK4 Golf Bravo Alpha Delta. Okay, before we continue on, is there anyone else want to join the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net? VK4BAD listening? Okay, nothing heard at the present time. Okay, okay there, Al, on your new vehicle has arrived. Well, that would be good. And you're not housebound anymore. You can now dart out and do stuff. Hi. Yeah, okay. One thing I would look at there, Ian, is the other day when you were saying when the readings were 1518, you might find you might need to shrink your vertical driver. They're just a fraction. It might be not resident and might be a fraction too long physically. And looking at that at the present time, with 1518, you'll probably probably get it down to around about a 116.5. Maybe 16334 there. But that's what I think might be just it might be slightly a little bit on the longer side. There, Ian. But that's what I'm looking at with the SWR. What you're saying there the other day. There, and you might actually get it below. Since your lower one is 1.5 at the moment, if you reduce the length slightly, you might actually find you'll actually come down below the 1.5 area. It's all experimental. Yeah, okay. Not much has been happening around here. My vehicle is back on the road again. Stand by. VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta returning. My vehicle is back on the road again. It's still lacking a little bit of power, but I know where that's coming from. That's coming from the exhaust gasket. I'll be fixing that on the weekend. Other than that, radio-wise, not much been happening here. There. Okay, before we start the last round, this is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta. Does anyone else want to join the Wednesday night net before we start the second round? VK4BAD listening. Okay. Don must be busy doing something. I haven't heard Merv on for... I've heard Merv on 950, but I haven't heard him on here for a couple of weeks. When was the last time I had Merv? The 24th of the... No, that can't be right. We've had him before, since then. No, 24th of the 1st was the last time we had Merv. And Don was 2 weeks ago. Okay, VK4, Mike Echo Echo. If you want to come in there, Eric. If not, VK4 Mike Victor, leave a bit of a gap. If Eric doesn't turn up, you take it. VK4 BAD.
Okay, sounds like Eric's busy. VK4BAD in the group VK4 Mike Victor. All good? No, I've sorted the problem with the tow bar. I take the thing out and put it in a bag. I put a bit of towing kit in a bag, carries the tow bar and ball and the spanner, and I put a few other bits and pieces in it, and that can go in the back, and when I need it, I'll put it on. Otherwise, I'd be swearing if I kicked it. I actually can get the vehicle in the garage without it being too long. If I put a nudge bar or a bull bar on it, it might be touch and go. But in that case, I'll have the tow toe ball off anyway, which should make it okay. So I'm looking into that other modification. What else? The only annoying thing that I spoke to you about, Ian, was the sat nav. It apparently can't be added in. It's been taken out because they think most people run with a phone on Google Maps, so they cut that out of it. But anyway, I think I'll get an independent GPS, an updated one. I've got one here, but it's quite old, and it actually travelled around the UK, and because I loaded it with UK and Europe maps and gave it to my sister and friend, and the pair of them went off, one doing the driving and one doing the navigating, and they drove around the UK. So apparently it ended up thrown into the back seat a few times when it didn't play the game. It's an old nav man. Still seems to work, so I can use that temporarily, but I think I might look into getting an updated one. Standalone. I'll get it set up somewhere, and then I won't have it interrupting the phone. But the old one, the car that got written off, it was integrated into the dash with lots of other things, but that seems to have been neutered. It's been terminated with some things. It's got very basic functionality there in comparison to the old one, which is a bit annoying because I got so used to it, and it was very, very convenient. But anyway, we'll live with it. What else? Yeah, the newer, this radio is not quite so new. I think it's 2002, 2005, 2010, I think, was the last service manual. And found a few mistakes in it, but it's partly hardware adjustment, and then you go on to setting levels with software in a table of settings. And the 757, 747, not 747, the 847 and the 857, the 897, 847 and 897 all had this table of adjustments, and you stepped through that, set up what you wanted to read or input, and you adjusted the control, and then you set that in that menu, and then when you left that, you told it to store it. And I've got tables of all the radios that I've adjusted that way, so I can compare the figures and see if anything looks odd. But it's a fiddly, and you've got to pick up on all the little nuances to make sure it reads correctly. And had to make a few little additional bits and pieces to make it all happen. But that all seemed to work okay, and so I'm quite happy with it at the moment. And I've got a second one to do, so that should make it easier. But the second one I've got to do has got a problem with the display, and I'm not sure whether I want to get one and put it in if the bloke doesn't want to pay the extra $70 or $80 that it's going to cost. But inside it's just rotten with cockroaches, and it stinks. Oh, geez, poking around there and cleaning it was nearly making me vomit. So anyway, that's the way it goes. Okay, well, it's a reset. Other than that, happy to get back into things and get travelling again, looking at doing things. And the trip to Serena, the bloke I'm going to see, he was here on Monday, but he must have flown down because he didn't drive down and bring the gear with him. But he's gone out to West to help a mate do some things out there. So I'm not sure when he'll be home, but I'll arrange to get some kilometres up on the new vehicle, get it checked and serviced, and for initial, not that they do much, and hopefully it'll be as good to drive and solid on the road as the old one was. So other than that, all good. Okay, VK4IJP in the group, VK4 Mike Victor.
That sounds all good, Al. 10 challenge. Yeah, no, it's keeping the tow bar inside. Yeah, actually, yeah, I don't do that on the four-wheel drive because I find it really handy for a step to get it up, to be able to get up into the back of it, things like that. So, and it doesn't stick out too far. Where the tow bar on the Falcon, it sticks out a long way. I mean, a long, long way. It sticks out that far. I actually first took it off the car and put it in the back because I was worried about reversing into someone because it must nearly stick out 300 mils out the back, like a long way. Probably over 300 mil, but it just sticks out a long way. So I'm more worried about one reversing into someone else, or them driving into me in a car park, or two going in and out of driveways and scraping it or doing something like that. So yeah. But the one before wheel drive, I sort of basically keep there all the time. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, Gary. After we spoke earlier on, I've got a funny feeling it might be length. So I'm thinking about getting up on the roof before I go out tomorrow morning and maybe knocking 5 or 10 mil off it at a time, 5 mil at a time sort of thing, and see if that does make any noticeable difference. If I take 5 mil off at a time sort of thing, I'm hoping that would be enough, yeah. But anyway, if I've got to get up and down the roof a couple of times, we'll just see how that happens. So, yes, I'm going to try that. So, it's not too hard. I can just lay it down. So, 2 screws come out of it, and then I can lay it down, basically sort of flat on the roof. Use the angle grinder to trim the aluminium, and then we'll see if that makes any difference. So I was sort of thinking about that after we spoke, as I was eating din tonight. Yeah, the brain, it's got to think about other things. It just can't just go, this is nice food, and be satisfied. But at the same time, we were watching TV, and we watched a number of cooking shows, and they were cooking this cake, and it had 12 layers in it. And I tell you what, gee, it looked awesome. In fact, I'm thinking about I might give it a go. Each layer, mind you, is only around well, less than 10 millimetre thick, I suppose. So, you know, yeah. So they were sort of like pancakes, and there were 12 of them. And I did think, oh, gee whiz, that did look like a nice stack of pancakes with chocolate and strawberry and cream and different things in between from all the different bakers. So, yeah, I've got a bit of inspiration from there as well. No wonder I'd never get anything done around the place. VK4GRB. Oh, no, wrong call sign, Gary. Sorry. VK4BAD and the huge group. This is, just very quickly, if you got a Yaesu 6-pin power connector, I just want to know what pin does what. I'll just put it back to hour quickly, Gary, and you can just answer that for me. Back to you, Al.
Yes, and if it's a 6-pin one, the positive is one end and the negative's in the middle, and the other end is the spare. There's nothing in that. That should be the 6-pin one. That's what I've got on the 897, and the way it plugs in, where I was looking at the top of it, the positives were both on one end, and the next pair down with a negative. That should be the orientation, and they're fairly well the same. The 6-pin Kenwood, ICOM, and the Yaesu all matched up for some reason or other. It's surprising that they could agree with anything like that. Back to you.
Okay. Just run that by me again. Sorry, Gary.
Yeah, okay. The positives are the pair on one end, or the outer pair, and in the middle pair is the negatives, the two negatives, and at the other end, the two last pairs, there's nothing on it. And how could I describe it? If you're looking into the lid plug on the lead itself, with the lock trick on the top, that would be positive on the left, negative in the middle, spare on the right, if you're looking at directly into the connector of the lead. That's how it should be. If I can remember what I was looking at a couple of hours ago.
Okay, so mine's got a locking pin on the side. So I'm taking the middle is just negative. That's easy. And if the locking pin is on the top, is it to the left? So the pins are moving horizontally. Well, they're not moving, but they're horizontal. So is the positive on the left then? If you got it sideways, is that a good way of saying it out?
Yep, as you're looking at it, it's flat. The longest side with the latch on it, if you're looking at that, and that latch is at the top, the two vertical pins in the middle of the negative, two vertical pins on the left end of the positive, and the two pins or pinholes on the right has nothing in them. I think on some models it might be a link for something, but in most of them there's nothing there. But that should be the orientation. The way I'm looking at the 897, the way it was sitting there, the latch was, that's the way it was. It was turned vertical, but it doesn't matter, horizontal. That's it. Left is positive, middle negative, right is nothing. And it was turned clockwise and vertical, so the lock was on the left. So don't confuse it. Negatives in the middle, and the positive should be on the left-hand pair when the plug's horizontal and the latch is on the top. I can send you a picture of it if you like.
No, I think I've got that worked out. That'd be fine. That'll be good. I've got pins, female pins that was slotting there, so I can just make that out. Excellent. Okay, over to Gary. Thanking you, Gary, for your patience for me taking you out of order. VK4BAD of the group VK4IJP.
VK4IJP in group VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta. No problems on that one there. There, Ian. No worries, anytime. That's what we're all here to do, is to help each other out. Hi. Quick one there, Al. I assume that's looking at the pins from the front, or looking looking at the back of the plug that they're on the left-hand side. I assume you're talking about looking at the pins there. A quick one for you there, Al.
Yeah, if you pick up the cable and you look into the socket towards the cable, so the cable's running away from you, so you're looking at the power cord itself. So the little latch is on the top, and in the middle two pins will be the negative, and the left hand two pins will be the positive, and the right hand two, where there should be pins, will probably have nothing in it, so that'll be empty. The later one's a 4-pin, but it's the same in the Yaesus and Kenwood and the ICOMs of the same era. They were exactly the same connector. It's funny that they got that compliant between the models, and one of the 6-pin little DINs, they did the same pin orientation for them. I don't know how they agreed to that, or they just cheated off one another. But yeah, so that's the way it is. I've just looked at my ICOM, but it's a 9100. It's a 4-pin, so it's different. And all the 6-pin ones will be down in the shed. So, but anyway, I can take a picture of it and show it to you if you like. But that's from memory, looking at the 897, which is the 6-pin one. That's the way it was configured, because I was working on that, repairing the connectors and tightening them up, because there was a bit of voltage loss between the power supply and the back of the radio. It was losing nearly 2 volts, so I had to tidy that up. So I was sort of paying attention to it. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, no problems on that one there. Yeah, I just thought I'd better ask, just in case. Yeah, were you looking at the back of the plug or the front of the plug? Right now you're looking at the front of the plug, looking at it. Right, no worries. So Ian's got a better idea on it. There. No worries there. Okay. Before we close off for the night, I'd like to thank the shortwave listeners who are actually watching the live stream. I see there's a few of yous on there, so I hope you're enjoying tonight. Okay, is there anyone else want to come in and say hello, goodbye before we shut the net down? VK4BAD. Okay, nothing heard on that one there. Friendly reminder for your calendars there, fellas. The next club meeting is on the 11th of May. The next club meeting's on the 11th of May. There. So jot that down on your calendars for the next club meeting. That's the. I know it's a couple of months away at the present time, but that's for the 11th of May is our next club meeting. Okay, last calls. Anyone else want to call in, say hello, goodbye before we shut the net down? VK4BAD. Okay, nothing else heard. I would like to thank VK4 Mike Echo Echo, Eric, out in Maidensville. He's only listening tonight, but good that he's made it in there. VK4 Mike Victor, Al in Dalby. And VK4 IJP Ian in Proston. Not a problem there. I've noticed we're missing... Russell, Merv, Kerry, Don. So they're all probably doing something. Oh, Jake's also. Oh, Jake is in Brisbane at the moment, so he won't be here neither. And I'd like to, as I said, I'd like to thank the shortwave listeners who are watching the live stream on Dippy TV. Okay, this is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. We hold this net every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m, 1930 hours, 0930 UTC. I'll now change back to my home call of VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Faryiryland. And we'll catch us all again the same time next week. This is Victor Kilo 4 Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Faryiryland. Until next Wednesday night, when we bring another edition of VK4BAD Badnet, I'll say 7-3 to all, and you all take care, and we'll catch us all again in the not too distant future. VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo out.